There you are.
What's up, bro?
Hey, buddy. Can you hear me good?
Yeah, you're loud and clear.
How you been, brother?
COVID, New Year's, new baby, all kinds of shit going on.
Yeah, you got like 5,000 babies now. How's that? Oh,
You work out a lot, you get jacked. The process of making babies is there's a byproduct.
yeah,
So
yeah.
the activity's fun, but there's some backlash for it. So now I got 9 million kids.
So I caught you early in the day. This is normally Neil gets you later at night.
Uh, nah, I'm good. New Year's resolutions. I'm cleaning up the act for a while.
Yeah,
So
me
I'm
too.
always available. I'm always available, but just idle time is the devil's playground for me. So I figured I'm either going to go down and crash and burn or I'm going to clean it up. So time of day doesn't really matter for me now.
Good. Good job. So you're gonna clean up. What does that mean for you? Like, does that mean are you not drinking?
Oh, man, I'm not going to say forever, but definitely taking a break for a bit till I reach the goals. I figure that for me has been my biggest hindrance on achieving my goals. If I was to be a 1,000% honest with myself, I could say it's kids, I could say it's work, I could say it's this and that, but for me, the thing that's a complete carbon copy opposite of living like an athlete is partying your face off until you're KO'd. I mean, that doesn't really go hand in hand with working out or being strong or anything.
So before we get too far, I think that everybody on this channel knows who you are. But for those of you who don't, introducing RVJ, the middleweight world champion of the WAL for a few years straight now. How many years?
Yeah,
Yeah,
2 years, but I'll take the third year by default.
that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rob's been crush it. Rob is kind of hailed as kind of just one of those gifted guys who was born to arm wrestle. You got the arm of a super heavyweight, but you're living in the 205. What is the category now? What is the cap? Is it 205? Is it 210? Is it 200?
I think they cater it to what they think will be a good match. So they'll kind of let some guys go up and dumb some other guys down. I've had matches that were almost at, sub 200. And then when you pull some of the bigger guys that they want to make it interesting, they'll make it, 210, maybe even upwards of 215, depending on how they want to play it. But the prescribed class is like 205, I'd say.
So what are you weighing today?
Man, I haven't been on a scale and since I probably weighed in at the last wall. But if I had to guess, maybe 2 and a quarter.
Oh, oh,
Yeah,
wow,
maybe 220. I'm guessing by how I felt in the past. I'm
that's
not going to say
awesome.
it's all quality weight because, like I said, it's a lot of booze. I took for granted that I could stay very lean, very easy, but turning 40 and booze and bad living, it catches up. So I feel like I'm heavy, but I feel strong. Ironically, I think the weight. That's why you see a lot of power lifters or bigger dudes. I mean, I feel really strong. So it's just a matter of getting the conditioning and where I want to be overall.
You don't look 40, buddy. So
Uh,
whatever you're
I know
doing.
I got this is growing a little longer like you, and I'm like, is it the blonde poking through because I got the Nordic in me, or is it gray? I don't know yet.
Yeah,
I'm gonna call it blonde.
that's what I'm saying. This is blonde for me coming through.
Yeah, platinum.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so I thought we'd do something fun today. I thought I would ask you 5 questions.
Okay, I can imagine. I
Ah,
said Devon's gonna poke it.
yeah, for sure. I'll put it. Okay, so the first question is, uh, so I've been kind of stirring this one around a little bit, and I wanted to get your thoughts on right-handed open weight. So whatever you want to weigh. Can you guess who I'm gonna say? Schoolboy.
Okay.
Yeah.
With who? Me?
You, man, you.
No.
Is there
I'm
anything
too
there?
much. I'm too much.
Too much.
Too strong. He can't play with my hand and he's way far off on the arm. I mean, I don't know anything about the guy, but I know I've been on social media. I know Khaled, without knowing arm wrestling too well, had good success because he couldn't get around his hand. And I had very similar matches when I pulled with Schoolboy, and we had he's the hand technician. I mean, he has a great arm. He is a great arm wrestler. I think if you were to ask me about me, not against other guys, not against some of the other guys in the class, but me, open weight, even if he's 250, no, because I think that I'm last year at the wall, I was going to come in at a level that I was in at before. So because of things I talked about earlier, my lifestyle and whatnot, not training the way I should have, I think I left myself room to be better than I've shown up at. So I'd go in nervous and with respect. I think he's a hell of a competitor, but no, I can't see him beating me right now.
The hand thing is really interesting, and I think that is going to be a big problem for him if he can't top roll you. I think that he's going to have issues. I agree. But I think it is a little bit of an interesting match just because of who this kid is and his trajectory on things like social media, and your complete,
100%.
not
Yeah.
being on social media.
He doesn't get as much love because he started off as kind of a people thinking he was a social hype because he did the New York, beating up on regular guys.
Yeah.
But then I started seeing him go to tournaments with legit guys. And I mean, up until the point when I think I pulled him at New England States, maybe like 2 years ago. It was the same year I won the first hammer, but I pulled him and he hadn't even lost an event here. He was going down to like Georgia or Mississippi or wherever, and he was winning tournaments and like walking through them. So I mean, and now he went to Russia, and I watched some of his videos of winning. Like, I mean, he's not beating Rustam Babayev, but he's over there beating the guys that they're crowning some of their better guys. And then he won one of the A1 tournaments where you were at. So I mean, and he's a much big
A1. I don't
not
think
A1. The top eight. The first top eight was at Malaysia.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
He won that and the overall. So
Yeah.
I mean, he's legit. He's going around everywhere and he's winning.
Yeah, he is legit. I mean, I've arm wrestled him. I know he's legit. He is really good. And the crazy thing is he's so young, right? Like I don't know if he's 21. I don't think he's 21.
He might be, but people don't realize how big he is. The first time I got a glimpse of how big he was how he stepped to the table in his videos. And it's easy to look at his face and think he's an unassuming kid. But when I was watching him in the video, he steps to the table kind of like you and Matt Mask do, like really tall guys when they split their legs. I'm like, that's a big kid. And I saw him in person and I said, wow. I says, when I pulled him, he wasn't as big as he is now. He might have been around 225, 230, and, got into the 220 class. But he was, he's put together. He looks like a kid who's arm wrestled a lot. I mean, the way the wrist bends from the rotation, like that knot from over rotation, that you get the twisted wrist, and he knows what he's doing. He walked through that whole event aside from me, and there was some good guys there.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I've watched him. I mean, I've always said he's gonna be a problem at some point, but do I think right now? Hey, look at that! What a good-looking family. Hey. Notice I didn't put myself in there. I didn't want to dumb it down.
Hey, it's interesting. I really want to see you pull this guy. I really do.
I'm open to pulling anybody. I know he's training, really hard, and he'd be a handful for sure. I mean, this is what he does, and I'm pretty sure it's how they make their living. So, he's not going to fall off the curve as much as I have.
I think it's a great match. I really do, and I'm going to keep on promoting it because you are the best middleweight in the world.
Mm.
I mean,
that depends on what social media site you get on.
There's always going to be, but hey, man, you are the title holder. You are the hammer holder, and in what I believe is the most profitable league to be the champion in. Mm. So, hey, until dethroned, people can say whatever they want.
Yeah.
And even though Schoolboy is bigger, we all know he's bigger. I feel like this is a really interesting match to me. Anyways, tell me about your left hand.
I think my left is highly underrated. I think I've had injuries like almost every puller that's pulled more than a couple years. But when it was good, I want to say it was the best in my class in North America. I've had times where I've had good runs even deep into the heavyweights when even like there was the ruler of the nation. And I was in the finals with Travis and Tom Nelson and maybe Marcio, Final Four out of all the best guys. So my left had a real good run for a while, but it got hurt. It fell off. Falling off was still good, but it wasn't as good as it was. But I think my left is always pretty solid. And right now, I don't know where it is because everything's righty. But my left is, at times, it's comparable to my right.
Have you arm wrestled Michael Todd left-handed ever?
You know, I've never even grabbed that guy at a, like, shaking hands like this, sitting down across from him, nothing. When we were all fucking around at the opening of WAL and me and Todd Hutchings were arm wrestling, me and John Brzezinski were arm wrestling, I never even grabbed that guy, not once out of all the times bumping into him.
How is that possible?
He knew what was going to happen.
I guess so. Anyways, look, I always say that Michael Todd's left hand is terrible. Okay, that's what I always tell people. It's still Michael Todd. Okay, Michael Todd is a great arm wrestler, but his left is nowhere near his right. Okay, it's completely different story. And this question really is, can you beat Larry Wheels left-handed?
Yeah.
Did you see what Larry did with Michael?
No, but I saw what he did with Schoolboy. And I did see, you know, it's, I can't really believe much of what I see online. I never grab Michael's left, and I can't believe much what I see online because I think, you know, I wish I had a cool-ass YouTube channel that was making me money and flying me around the country. But do I think that there's not some staged hype and stuff? I mean, this is the same guy that got in there. Granted, he got hurt, but he would win national championships and bang with Wagner Bortolato. Do I believe that Larry Wheels beat him? No. No, I think that's horse hockey.
I don't.
Okay.
I don't. Here's the thing. Okay, from my perspective, Larry Wheels has been arm wrestling about 2 minutes.
Yeah. More like a couple years at this point, but I got you.
No. You can't say Larry Wheels has been arm wrestling a couple years.
Well, he was introduced, what, like 2 years ago with Schoolboy or whatever, and then he started dabbling.
Like, hey, no. You can't say he's been arm wrestling. That guy's been, he broke powerlifting world records in between then and now. Like, he's not been arm wrestling.
Okay.
When I went to Dubai just a few months ago, he had not even done wrist workouts. He hadn't even done them. Like, he's like, yeah, arm wrestling's cool, but he hadn't even started doing this yet.
Right. I do think that you're asking me, and pretty much almost anybody you throw at me as a name, I feel that I'm capable of beating, let alone somebody who's been arm wrestling for 2 minutes. I mean, I have beat some of the best left-handeds at any weight at given days.
He just beat Michael Todd in ready-go scenarios. Three straight.
Well, like you said, Michael Todd's left is terrible. So I'm going to support you on that.
Too, but I mean, Michael Todd is still pretty good. Like, he still does pretty good. So it's very interesting.
It's plausible he's that strong. I mean, like you said, he's one of those rare guys he's not just a strong guy like we've seen come from the gym. He is a world powerlifting guy. So to think that he could transfer that power with a little bit and he's an athlete too, right? So to be able to figure out, other guys have come in the sport, not many, and because they've had a strong base, had immediate success. Could he be one of them? He could be. Am I going to go and subscribe to that right now today? Will he be strong? I'm sure, much like the Eddie Hall match. Will I know he's there? Potentially. Do I see me losing to him? No. I saw what Schoolboy did, and I'm going to just do the same soup warmed over, maybe harder.
His trajectory is steep. That's why it's interesting to keep a close eye on him.
Well, I don't unless I get 275. I don't have to worry about that.
Two, is that going to happen?
No, uh, but I'd like to be a good solid 225, really lean. But isn't he big like that? He's like 260 or 70, isn't he?
Yeah, yeah, he's
So
big.
he's way deep into the heavyweights.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. But the thing is like if you compare hand size and like wrist thickness, you're probably at least on par with them. At least. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm gonna win that match, and I might even pose and laugh and all that shit doing it.
Ooh. All right. Okay. That's
I'm
see,
gonna
that's
throw
what
him on his bicep and hold him like this, and maybe pop a flex.
that's what I like to hear. Okay. Speaking about being solid at 225 and maybe one day a flabby 260, tell me, tell me about donuts.
Donuts. Well, I was at a fair one day. Not a fair. I was at a campground, and there was this guy who had a little donut machine, this donut robot that pumped out donuts. And I was waiting in line at this little podunk campground, and he was selling these bags of donuts for $5 a piece. And I tried them, and they were hot, they were awesome, they were amazing. I've never seen a machine like it in my life. And so I bought one for all my kids. So this guy got me for a quick like 30 spot. And then I look, and there's a whole fucking line behind me. And I'm like, this guy's making ridiculous money in a short amount of time. So for years, I was like, I'm going to get one of those donut machines because I've been all over the country, never seen one of those. So the years go by, and I'm tired of construction. I'm tired of working in the roofs. And it was more numbers game. I crunched numbers. I'm like, I don't see how I can lose if I get a location. And I picked up a location and put a donut truck in a trailer and catered to kids, and we smash it.
No way. So is that what you do for real? You're selling
Well,
donuts?
I've graduated to doing lemonades and cotton candy, and it's all just high profit foods, cotton candies, sugar on a spindle like this, and lemonade. And you go on a beach. We're on a beach location in the summer, so people come get lemonades and donuts all day, or the people who are hungover send their kid down a 20 spot and they drain it at my cart, and we get a couple hundred of those kids a day, and we're good. And I only work from about 7 in the morning till noontime, like 4 days a week through the summer, and I quit my job, so I'm good.
Love it. I love it. Are
It
you
wasn't like I had a passion for mini donuts. They are good. I mean, you get them when they're only about 30 seconds old, but it was more a numbers game. I was like, I can't be doing what I'm doing until I'm like 80. I don't have a 401k. I don't have a retirement plan, so I need an out. So I just said, I'm going to have to watch. I'm going to have to figure something out, and it was a numbers game for me.
It's amazing.
But it's fun. Heather quit her job. We work in the trailer together. So,
That's
yeah.
great. That's
Yeah,
great.
so
Yeah.
entrepreneurial. I've always been that way.
What is the deal? Where does the relationship stand? What is the future with you and Todd Hutchings?
Relationship's always been up and down. I think it's because we've always been a little bump and grind. We've had different times of antagonizing each other. I think the last time we got on a podcast, we were pretty amicable, but I do think that there's that gnawing piece that my name gets thrown in there in a place he thinks he owns, and it bothers me that the place I believe that I rightfully own, he's my haunt. So I think it's going to have to come to a head at some point in time. Even though he's kind of moved on to the bigger class, I'd be open to pulling him, kind of much like the schoolboy conversation, just at a weight we're just both happy at and go time. I mean, that's a slippery slope too, right? Because how big can a human being get? I don't know. We've seen some of these guys go double in size in a few years. I've seen what top 8 did for people, right? So that's open weight class is kind of like open to where you've been comfy. Let's go on your past record like 3 years ago. So, but I think it would have to come to a head I don't know if he cares about it as much and I care about it less, but that's something that there's no animosity because I'm not online, but I know his name's always kind of like echoing behind mine.
Yeah, I think it should be I don't think you should go too far in weight. I think you should do it at the middle weight. I think the middle but I always am shocked at how much Todd likes to pull in the opens when, there is that weight class there that he could stick around at,
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see some resolution there too, because you guys have an unclear history to me.
Yeah, and for me, as I've said in many different podcasts, when I pulled him, I was still kind of coming out of an injury. I don't think I ever caught him in a place where I was feeling confident in the straps or confident with even committing and meeting him a little bit in the center of the table. So I gave him a lot of running room, and it's things I've had a lot of years to think about. And coming in tournaments where we didn't get to meet each other when they were canceled at the WAL final, I felt really good about us meeting. And as I get better, I just have myself convinced that I'm more problematic for him the more time goes by. But perhaps it should be at middleweight, where he's touted as the greatest middleweight. And if I feel like that's my spot, then what's the sense in doing it at 230, right? You got to kind of see where you both land if you're both 200.
Yep. Yeah. There's a difference between weight class arm wrestling and open weight arm wrestling. Big difference.
Yeah. So we're good as far as I know. I mean, like I said, I don't know. He could hate my guts, but I'm fortunate enough to not to be on social media.
Yeah, I mean, you guys. I feel like that last year. What was it? Was it 2016? Yeah,
17,
I feel like
17. They had the finals, but I didn't go because that's when that whole debacle happened.
And what was it when you beat him every qualifier or something, and then it wasn't until the finals that he got you?
Yeah, in 16 I beat him in the finals, but the preliminaries of the final in Vegas. And I did something with him that I had never done, which was I met him sideways. And I took control, what do you call it, like exploding palm?
Right, exploding.
We just kind of like exploding. So I just kind of like took a dominating hand and just went sideways. And when his hand buckled, he went to bail, and I just pushed down.
Right.
But then after that, that was for the final four. They took like a 4-hour break. So my adrenaline peaks out. I crash. I celebrate. You give me 4 hours of my time. I'm already celebrating. I'm at the bar. I come back. And his plan was, fuck this. Let's get him in the straps. And at that point in time, up until not long ago, the straps were a weakness. Something I've had to do a lot more research into and development and get myself out of the fact that straps were the enemy, because they aren't going anywhere. I have to face it. And I got exploited in the straps. Pretty much every time we've pulled, it's been the straps were the saving grace for him. And for me, having a match out of him was, so now finding that balance, I think I can make up the strap ground more than he can make up playing with me out of the strap ground. I think my ground's easier to gain than his is.
It's really interesting how some arm wrestlers, there's such a massive difference between in the strap versus out of the strap. I think that, I've arm wrestled I've arm wrestled tons and tons of people. And I actually think I met a guy who is now has the most discrepancy between the two is Dallas Langston. I don't know if you pulled him.
No, I never pulled him, but he looked that way with Mulvihill.
Yeah, it's like, I know a lot of guys where the strap makes a big difference. With Dallas, it was like, wow. I was like, initially gripping up with him, I'm like, okay, he's not really accessing it. And then as soon as you put that strap on him, it's like, that's a completely different guy. Completely different.
Yeah. Well, that's very similar with Jason Vale, but I don't think Jason would let you get a hold of him enough to feel him out of the strap. He was just so good at getting away. He didn't let you have too much purchase.
Right.
No, I've never pulled Dallas, but I've seen how much he's won and the guys he's beaten. So clearly there's something there.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, I think I have the components. I do think being afraid of the shoulder, and with a guy like Todd Hutchings sitting back, on a bicep and letting him just drive on you and giving him that lane without having some commitment to block that, I think is a recipe that he's exploited on everybody who's been afraid of his power. When he could just come across and wedge down. So I think even in the straps, where I have a lot more confidence in my, how you say, test your frame, I have a lot more confidence again in my elbows and shoulders, and I'm feeling good again, that I'd be curious to put that to the test with a level of dominance from the hand.
So in a perfect world, WAL, say they did a rule revision. Is there anything that you would change to the rules or the equipment to make it more entertaining, more sporting, more fair?
Yeah, I do think that we might have talked about it, and a few other guys might have talked about it when they made the pads. What was it, 2 inches to the back?
Yeah.
I think they should split the difference and bring it front and back for the guys who do want to come forward, because now you're only favoring the back pullers. I also think that, not because I'm against the straps, every one of my matches landed in the straps multiple times, but I think the countdown for the straps and automatic straps is silly. I think that they should go to set your grip and fire you, if only for the fans. At least they get some data of who had a spot, and sometimes, I mean, I've made a career out of chucking the shit out of my hand and clamping people and pushing them straight down. But I think that this turned into a hocus pocus game where guys are pretending to stretch and get a grip and count down 30 seconds. I think that it should be, if you want the straps, be a Jason Vale, be the guy who can get them. But if you get a hold of somebody who's too fucking strong, you might find yourself, swimming upstream. As far as the rules, I mean, we're always going to have something to say about reffing and stuff like that. But, I've had a pretty good run and adapted okay. Just those two. I think the pad should be fairer for all styles of pulling. And I think that the 30-second rule should go. I think they should just set you and fire you. And then at least you get data and more stuff for the viewer.
The first one that you said, I 100% agree with you. And I think most pullers do. And I think that it's become pretty clear how much the dragging styles have been empowered. Are you cool? Do you think that we did a good thing by adding that extra play area? Do you like the 7x9 concept?
Yeah, I do. And I don't fully get the benefit out of it. And where I really felt the 9 inches, I would say, was when I was pulling Toulier, because his arm's so short and he's so powerful with that drag that you give somebody like him an extra 2 inches going back. I mean, there's a lot of torque there. But I think it's good. Movement's good, and that's part of the game, is being able to move in the playing field. I would like the 2 inches because when I get caught in those spots, I can tuck to that front corner and defensively hold. So I think it was good changing the dimensions. I think it just needs to be how it's split up, for all styles of pulling. But I like the new pads, as long as they don't change it again.
Well, so a change 1 inch forward.
I'm saying as long as they don't all of a sudden go to a 10x10 that's
right.
4 inches tall, something crazy. You get the wrong people in there making the wrong decisions so they can win a championship. Next thing you know, they'll have a surfboard off the back of the table.
Yeah, hey, I totally agree with you in terms of fairness, especially. I think that would be a good thing for the sport in general. And I think it will make that match, like, perfect example, Jerry versus Michael. I think that 1 inch difference.
You're stealing an inch, so you're basically just shimmying it like this. So you're stealing an inch from Mike and giving it to Jerry. That's a 2 inch swing. That's a big difference.
Right.
Especially when the match was that close.
Yeah, I agree.
So, it changes a lot for people.
And the whole strap thing, I gotta say that I kind of agree with you as well. But the only thing that gets tricky to me is, so then what about the foul rule? Right.
Which one?
I'm talking about how do you call, or do you call, like, what is the call on slips?
Because I think slips should be, if your elbow's still on the table. If they want to keep the rule that all slips go to straps, okay. But if you lift your elbow, if somebody's got such a bite on you and you lift your elbow to pull away, like you blatantly pull out like it's tug of war, I think that's a foul. But if you kind of get the guy's hand cracked, even if your king's moving and doing everything and you come away without getting pinned, I'm okay if that, even though we all want the pin, we all want the win, I'm okay with that going to strap if there's controversy. I'm okay even if people are so non-committed, they just ball their hand up and get away. That's the nature of the sport. You're not going to stop it. It's a slippery slope if you start playing those lines. As long as the person keeps their elbow on the pad to get away. Picking up the elbow blatantly to just rip away, that should just be, yeah, that's
Foul
a foul.
restart.
Yeah, foul restart out of straps. And then the person's just going to degrade from there and either lose on fouls or get pinned trying to do something different.
I gotta say, I agree with you. I
Yeah.
agree. Yeah, I think that little amendment would be better. I think that the reason why we moved to the 30-second strap was to shorten the amount of setup time in live events. Right.
Right.
I think
Well, what
that
happens is people you give them an inch, they take a mile. Now they say, well, I don't even got to grab this dude. I'll just sit here, like Travis will say, like, oh, pretend I'm not grabbing, walk away, chalk, grab some water. And then everybody started doing it. They say, well, I can just get the straps without doing it. And now you got 30-second countdown on every match with guys
right,
not even attempting to pull.
right.
You should be trying to get in there. You should be trying. That's what we're here to do, whether you like it or not. With all your training, you should be comfortable out of the straps. You shouldn't be reliant on them.
It's really interesting. That's such a subtle but interesting part about arm wrestling is, do you have the right to a strap? Do you have the right to it? And that's really what that 30-second rule is saying. You're in the WAL, basically you have the right to the strap. So basically, as soon as you have the right to it, it kind of forces the sport to say, okay, well then you better get rid of the strap. Absolutely.
Right.
It already got shifted when we started doing Arm Wars, and Arm Wars was I think the first league that said all slips go to straps, and then WAL took it a step further when they said 30 seconds into the straps.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, look at the outcome. It would have changed even when I was busting. I wasn't busting Mulvihill's balls because I knew that match he was catching heat. So he kind of reached out to me and was like, "You believe these guys, busted my balls after I win that match?" And I was like, rightfully so. I says, you're thumping your chest about WAL, and understand, if you were in the WAL, Dallas would have got straps from the start every match, and he would have won every match.
Whoa, whoa,
I
whoa,
was like,
whoa.
well, one of you guys will come in and break the roof or flip a tent or do something. I know how that works. Someone's going to flip a tent when he goes down 2-0.
Brandon, look, I've pulled them both. Okay, I've only pulled Dallas one evening in San Diego. Super impressive. I was super impressed by him. I was super impressed by his top end ability in the strap. Which, if I can say, if Brandon has a weakness, that's his one weakness. Okay, but I'll tell you, in basically every other category, Brennan's got him.
Right.
Like versatility.
Well, that's where that he's like Schoolboy right now to me. I think they're very similar.
No.
Similar. I didn't say he would beat Schoolboy. I think they're comparable. From when I've
no. Mulvihill and Schoolboy, those are two very different people.
I think what happens is you get the training with people and then you get rocked out tired, like when you were pulling with Todd Hutchings, and then Schoolboy comes in and throttles both of you, and he feels like he came from another planet. I think you get practice. You get practice envy. You practice 6 days in a row. Then you grab some guy who came off of the janitor mop, and then he throttles you, and you make 8 videos that you found the next guy who walks on water. Do you think that is that a fair statement?
Well, with with Schoolboy, look, I think that Arm Wrestling TV, I love those guys, love them. I think that they have a business that they're doing. I mean, I've been at practices with them. I know that they're calculated. Okay, I'm the exact opposite of that. I'm not at all calculated in anything. But look, knowing Brennan Mulvihill extremely well, and I know Schoolboy a little bit just by following him close and having trained with him a couple days earlier this year. To me, Schoolboy is like refined Russian purist clean, top roll, in the straps, perfect technique, training for success. And Brendan Mulvihill is a Valley High hooker fighting it out in the garage with Evan Burgoyne and the boys. Table maniac, completely reckless and chaotic. They're like, that's like order and chaos. Those two people are completely different. Mulvihill is a wild animal. Okay, like he can pull any way, any position.
Well, that's the problem too. When those guys that are so polished in a direction, they're used to pulling polished people. You know, it wouldn't be out of the realm of thought that Mulvihill could pull that out in a weird way. I mean, look at his adjustment he made with Dallas. I mean, of course, I know that was an Evan Burgoyne in his ear when the tent got blown the fuck over and went to Kansas. But I do know that was an adjustment that he made and applied, and it was devastating.
That's a huge match. I can't wait. I can't wait till they finally kick it off. And I am really glad that they're going to do it under kind of IFA, WAF rules where they don't just get the strap automatic. I think Dallas can get the strap. I think that, he's going to be able to get a strap. I still think it's, I'm glad that they're not just giving him the strap though. Yeah.
I think that Brendan's going to come in and, he's going to be very confident from what he felt towards the end. And he's going to come in with a game plan that's going to be much different than the opening rounds of their last match. And I think he solved the puzzle there towards the end, and it's going to be a bigger road for Dallas to get around. When somebody's just so dominant in hand and wrist, and you can't get away, and Brendan does have an elbow, and he does have a tricep, but he's not afraid to wedge on it.
Brendan, even though he's still just a little puppy, he's got miles on his elbow. He's got
it'll catch up eventually. It'll either get real strong or break.
Yeah, I think he's gonna go the get real strong way. I mean, that's what I think. I think he's still very, very green. Yeah. So hey man, thanks so much for coming on. Always cool to talk to you.
Yeah.
You got anything you want to add? Like, do you even have a YouTube channel yet?
Nah.
You do have one, don't you?
No, I've been talking about it for years, and I don't. I got a little YouTube started for my daughter when her video went viral and things like that, but I have no idea where to even begin. That world, breaking into that world is so daunting, and I feel like I said, the YouTube channel thing is nice, and guys like you that have subs and ARM TV, but it's hard to break in. Like I said, what I can bring is just the train wreck side. And I've got lots of train wreck shit. I got lots of train wreck videos I would hate to leak out there, but, it'd be like me and Evan Burgoyne Roadshow, Pick up Kenny Hughes on the way, and we have all kinds of fun.
Hey, remember your resolutions, right?
Yeah.
Not allowed to hang out with those guys anymore.
No, only temporarily till I get where I want to and kind of reset the program. I mean, you're not going to see me up at the Mike Gould Classic or whatever replaces that with what you guys are doing, and I'm going to be sipping on a ginger ale. That will never happen. But I want to get like Larry Wheels type jacked and lean, and then I'll show up at an event.
Wow.
Larry Wheels.
Wow.
Left-handed.
Okay. You going to go to Dubai and crack them or what?
Is that what I got to do? I got to fly to Dubai?
You cannot do that without a YouTube channel, though. Otherwise, it's not worth anything to you.
Yeah, I got to get all set up and pirate all your videos, and then I'll go over.
Join the crowd.
Right. Pirate your subs. All's good here. I mean, like I said, my life's very boring nowadays. It's donuts. I do some woodworking, and I'm trying to get back to working out. It's very humbling when you try. I've spent so long off of the gym that it's very humbling experience. So just boring day to day. COVID. Crazy here. You guys locked up there?
So depressing.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. What is this world coming to? We've got a curfew now in some of our provinces, and probably today our province is going to make an announcement on potential curfew. I don't know. That's what I don't want to get started because to me it's just it's horrible. All of it is horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my sleep patterns are all fucked up and everything because I'm just home all day like this, and you don't know what time it is, and you try to go to the store, and things are closing at 6. We got curfews here now, and businesses got to shut down, and that's part of it. Like you can either fall into a line of like depression, and or you can try to rise above. And I fell into like weird depression for months, and then now I'm like, well, I'm probably gonna kill myself if I stay on this track. So for the new year, I'm like, well, I'll take this time of being locked up and just work out and eat a ton of food.
I got an idea for you, Rob, how to get out of your depression.
Pull Todd Hutchings.
Have one more baby.
Yes, yes. This one's awesome. If you met this baby, everybody would want one. She doesn't cry. All she does is laugh and sleep. That's it.
Hey, buddy, thanks so much for coming on, and really looking forward to your next match, and always cheering for you.
Hey, I appreciate it, man. And as soon as it's cleared up, whenever that is, we're due for a trip up your way, as always. And if you find yourself flying through, hit me up. We're always open.